Oh, man. Okay. So if you're just waking up this morning, you know that Kanye went on another social media rant last night. And the subject of that one is Diddy. Now, he started the rant on Twitter with saying free Puff. Now, if you happen to go on his Twitter account right this very second, he's actually going on a rant as we speak. Like within the last 30 seconds, he's still spewing stuff out, talking about how he's a Nazi, how fat women should not be on the runway, how he's about to win 20 Grammys and perform at the Super Bowl next year. He's clearly having a meltdown. So if you want some entertainment for yourselves, go onto his Twitter account right now because he's still going off. He posted a screenshot of him having a FaceTime conversation with Diddy's son, Christian. And it's also important to note that he's only following two people on social media, his wife and Diddy. Anything latest, Leroy?
Yesterday, I watched an interview with Justin LeBoy. It's a really long interview. And he talked about his mental issues. He was very, very transparent. I'm not making any excuses, but he needs help. I've been saying this for a long time. A lot of people have. He's not surrounded. And he probably refuses to be surrounded by people.
He's surrounded by yes men.
Yeah.
No one's trying to help him, it seems like. But, I mean, whatever.
I don't care if he has mental issues. I break down people into two categories. No matter what you are, you're either cool or you're an a-hole. Mental issues or not, he's an a-hole. You could give him all the medicine in the world. It's not going to make him a nice guy unless you give him something that literally shuts off a piece of his brain. He's just inherently an a-hole, but nobody wants. Yeah. His music pretty amazing.
He talked about that in the interview, and he said part of the reason why he doesn't take the medication, he's looking for medication that helps him but doesn't take away his creativity, and that was a major part of it. So he stopped taking medication.
He needs medicine. The only way he's gonna shut off to the point where people are like, "Oh, Kanye's nice now," is if he takes that medicine that always has you drooling a little bit on the side. You know what I'm saying? All right, in Kanye's own words, this is why he's crazy. All right, he did an interview talking about his mental illness, which is a terrible thing. Mental illness is a terrible thing. However, that being said, I personally, Ramiro, I don't care what medication you give this guy. You can take away whatever mental illness he's got. He's still an a-hole, in my opinion. I don't care what you're going to do. It's you're not, unless you have can you completely give me an opposite personality of my normal nature pill? Unless that exists, he's always going to be an a-hole. My personal opinion. Anyway.
Or maybe he'll have some type of filter if he gets on, I'm not trying to diagnose anyone because I don't know, and who knows? It could be a whole act. You never know.
I just don't believe it. Bipolar, whatever it is, you're an a-hole or you're not an a-hole inherently. How do you know you're entering an episode, pendejo?
How do you know when you're entering an episode or when you're in one?
I watch for it beforehand, but other times it was just if you get to the point where it goes, you're gonna stay in that position for a while. It might go for 3 days, 4 days, a week. Some people, if they get into it, you gotta put them in a place that's not in public. It depends on the level.
So he's saying basically, unless I heard it wrong. I can, at this point, I know when it's coming, but I still let it come. If you know it's coming, you know what? Take your phone and put it in a lockbox or something like that and give somebody else the key. Question number 2. What's it like for people in your circle? What's it like for the ass kissers that you pay who want to help?
It's so difficult for them because this is a grown man. You can't take control of his bank account. You can't control what I'm saying on Twitter, but a lot of what was sending me into the episodes, and it's hard. My dad, a bunch of people said, you can't leave Adidas. Why would you leave all that money? The constant feeling of not being in control spun me out of control.
So I know that Wendy Williams has she has the issue with the dementia and stuff like that, but Britney Spears, didn't they do the conservatorship with her, and she doesn't technically have any medical.
That whole situation was horrible.
Well, no, I'm just saying that basically,
she hasn't been diagnosed with anything. You're saying?
Well, what I'm saying is, what's the difference between him and Britney Spears? If she can get her stuff taken away, why can't he get his stuff? Do you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying, but I don't like who would do it in Kanye's case.
That's a great question.
You know what I mean?
That's a great question.
Like in Britney's case, it was her dad.
Yeah. That's a great
So who
question.
would do
yeah.
it?
So maybe that's what it is, that they don't have anybody who can actually take it away.
By the way, he just tweeted. Kanye just tweeted. Hitler was so fresh.
Oh my God.
See, okay. And this is why, because just like I believe that there's people out there who complain about all the drama in their life, but secretly they love having drama in their life, so they have something to complain about and have a reason for why their life sucks. He is the same way with this. He's like, this is the way for me to let out my real feelings and be like, guys, you don't understand. I have fill in the name, just say a long word, condition.
See, I'm not a fan of that, and a lot of people do feel that way, the way that you feel, Ramiro. I'm genuinely confused on how to process all of this with Kanye. Like you just said, Melissa, he is currently going off on Twitter. We live in a world where we are told to, and rightfully so, to pay attention to mental health.
Yes.
And whatnot, and to not just be dismissive of it. What we're hearing from Kanye himself as far as why and this, I don't understand. I don't like what he's doing. I do believe he needs help, but I don't understand how many in society are automatically dismissive of him having mental issues and just like he's a jerk, he's an ass. I have a hard time dealing with that.
I'll let you go first, Pebbles.
Well, I was going to say, I think that there's definitely, around mental health, I think there's a more openness to talk about like mental health issues like depression and anxiety and things like that. I think when it comes to very serious, not that those things aren't serious, but like mental illnesses, like really, I think people seem to be a little bit less understanding, because I think a lot of people don't know a lot about those. I think we're starting to understand depression and anxiety and stuff like that. But the other, ones I think are a little harder. What I do think though, and I understand where you're coming from, Leroy, it's just where I have a hard time is like, I still think that if you're coming out and spewing things like this, like you're saying a lot of very damaging and hurtful things. And I think you still have to be accountable for that stuff in some way. I don't know. It's hard.
Here's my thing. Everybody is dealing with it, whether it's mental health, physical health, everybody. There's nobody on the planet who's like, I just wake up and I'm in great shape and my mind's always perfect. Everybody's dealing with it on different levels. Some people are dealing with it where it's just like they have to deal with it on a daily basis, whether it's going to the gym or doing whatever it is. Other people have to, like Pebble said, have a little bit more where they have to take medications and all that stuff. But me, when you're a grown-ass human being and you know what the issue is and you continue to do the same loop and then blame the thing, but don't do anything to stop the thing, and then do the thing and blame the thing, but don't do anything. That's when I lose my, I feel bad for you. I'm like, come on, man. You just said you're a grown-ass man. Fix yourself.
But Leroy, you were saying like that in the interview where he was talking about this stuff, like he was saying he didn't like how it was altering, like taking away
well,
from...
I have one more clip here. Here he actually mentions that. This is them asking him why if he takes medication.
Do you take medication? Does it work for you? What gets you out of
I haven't taken the medication since I found out that it wasn't bipolar, that wasn't the right diagnosis, that I found out it was like autism. So
how do you feel it working, or do you just take it just to make your wife happy because she says you should take it? Like, do you believe in the medication?
It's finding stuff that doesn't block the creativity. Obviously, that's what I bring to the world.
Okay, then you know what? This is when you need to advocate for yourself if that's what you care about the most, and go find a new doctor and talk to different people. That's still an excuse to me.
But you know what? I agree with you on some level, but then on another level, that to me, that's like telling someone to like snap out of depression, and it's not that easy. It's really hard. And the reason, I'll speak from experience, like there were times when I was going through really, really bad like depressive episodes, and I didn't know at the time that like irritability is a sign of depression, because people always think it's like sadness, it's this, but it's not just that. It's like feeling pretty much like dead inside or just feeling really irritable. Like there was a point, and I was around you guys, so I'm sure you knew, where
Yeah.
it's like I felt like I hated everyone. It was really bad. And it was very difficult to control that feeling until I got on medication. I was lucky because, it didn't affect me the way that Kanye's saying with the creativity and stuff, but it's very hard. It's hard to like get out of it, but I understand what you're saying.
No, I know it's hard, but like for your stuff, let's say if you started taking your medication and all this, actually you've done this, where you take it and, either I don't know, you might need to change
Adjust
the dose,
dosage. Yes,
whatever,
I have.
and you're like, oh, I think I need to do that because I'm starting to notice these things.
Yes.
And you do that. If the way Kanye sounds to me would be, you're on the medication, you're noticing it's not working, and you're like, is what it is. I'm just gonna keep it moving like this, even though I clearly I'm annoyed at Ramiro, and he didn't even say anything today to annoy me. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. And again, I feel for people, but not all people. Like I don't feel for Kanye. Fix yourself, you knucklehead. GetUpCrewShow.com.